get to talk about your film that not only it's a 96 Oscar entry for Greece, but it's also your debut feature film. So huge,
Thank you. Thank
huge.
you so much.
What moment are you at? The one that you're still in disbelief of the success of your first film, or the part where you're still digesting that it's Oscar entry?
Struggling. That's the struggling all the time about everything. Yeah, I think that this happens to everybody. This applies to everyone in this industry, and not only this industry, everywhere. But yeah, it's like struggling all the time. Happy moments, but struggling to go on and, to keep on going and everything.
So you're the writer director. You wear more than one hat in this film. So let's start with the beginning about writing and what inspired you to write Behind the Haystacks.
Okay, so I started exploring the theme before having the story. So I started from the theme, and I was thinking of doing something related to how everyday people, how we become cogs in corrupt systems. So this was the idea, to explore the different ways a decent person can corrode. And while I was working I had a daily job. My first degree I'm an economist, actually. My first degree is in economics and finance. And at the same time, I had the job, and I was working there for 15 years. And anyway, and I was doing my master's. And during my master's degree in cinema, in film directing, a friend of mine talked to me about Dorian Lake, which is far away from Athens. It's on the border between Greece and North Macedonia. So I saw pictures of the lake, and it had, it was a wild lake. There were dead trees in the water. So I thought it was the wonderful landscape to put the setting of the film there, because I wanted to locate the film in a very small society, in a village. So I went there, which is like 6 hours from Athens by car. And the very first night that we stayed there to start doing research, this happened in 2015, actually. There were 50 migrants that were housed at the hotel, who were trying to cross the border illegally into Northern Europe. So I decided at that moment to put the refugee crisis in the film, although it's not a film about the refugee crisis. It's the
How it affects.
setting. Yes.
And you in this story, you definitely take us to the effect of a one household alone. Um, how the action of one, in this case for Storgio,
There
um,
you.
Storgio decides to take action and kind of gets involved because just trying to his survival mode, right, to keep his household
Yes.
and family together.
Serious, it's an everyday guy. He's a fisherman and farmer. Nothing works properly in the society he lives in. There's corruption, there all these things. He's made, some, like, a fraud some years ago, and he's afraid that he will go to jail, all these things. And at some point, he makes this decision to start smuggling migrants, and then everything goes wrong. But the other two people, his family, his wife and the daughter, they also, it's not like, of course there are effects from what he has done, but they have their own choices. They make their own choices. They have similar moral dilemmas, which are related to this. Will they defend the truth in favor of society, or will they cover up? So this is the exploration of the film in general. So we have these three stories: Sergio's story, and then Maria's story, and then Anastasia's story. And we see, we go through each of each character's perspective, and see the things through his own or her own eyes.
And what made you go that direction to show each chapter its own perspective of the character versus to just going along with the whole story?
The first thing had to do with the characters, how we get to understand a person, because the idea was to see a different Maria and a different Anastasia in Sterios chapter, and then to dig into their perspective and their inner soul and their secrets and their relationships and their real motives. So this also applies to how we judge people easily. We say, oh, he has done so horrible things, but when you get to know his story, we identify with him or with her in a different way. So that was the first idea, and of course it gave me the opportunity to make some twists and play with the plot. But this was a secondary choice. The first reason was to do this with the characters, to deepen in this way in the characters.
Can we talk about the scene in the kitchen when Maria and Sergio are talking, and then he's like, they're talking about God and the fear, like lost fear. Can you talk about the dialogue that took place in that scene?
At the not in the kitchen. You mean at the police station?
Oh, right, the police
Yeah,
station. Yes,
the
before.
police station.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes. Well, this is a spoiler alert, probably. But yeah, I can, of course, I can do that. Anyway, yes, Maria has found out what's happening. So at that point, they know both that they know the truth. And they confront each other for the first time, actually, because Maria will cover up, and Serious asks her, now you're not afraid of God. And then Maria says, God knows that this is my job as a mother. So I think that this is the first time, because Maria is, a woman who everybody thinks that she's weak, but finally we find out that she's not weak. She is some different things, but not weak. And she's this kind of woman who says yes to the guy, to the husband, to everybody. She's very polite and looks weak and everything. And she doesn't confront the truth. And at the moment, they both know. So, Sterios is like, oh, you see that I've done all this and you cover it up. That's the question, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think about God? And Maria has an excuse to herself that she has the support of God.
And she also
That's
says
what she wants. Sorry, interrupt you. Sorry.
yes, and she also says she has to do what she has to do for her family.
Yes, this is she does that for her family, but not only for her family. They are like she, for example, it has to do with the social status of herself and the family as well. It has to do with that. It's not only about protecting someone. Protection can be the protection of the family, can mean different things, but she doesn't want the other people to talk badly about the family. So she decides to put an innocent guy to jail, and she knows that.
Anastasia's character shocked me, what her actual life was outside the household, singer. Can you talk a little bit about picking that actress for that role?
Yes. Well, actually, it was her first film ever she made after school. Yeah, and we worked a lot together because well, she's brilliant. She works so much. She's like a artist worker. I don't know how to say that in English. She works so hard. It's not like, she puts a lot of thought. We discussed a lot. We worked, and actually we worked during the first lockdown, and we were doing rehearsals through Zoom, a lot of rehearsals. And she had been working with her expressions and everything, and she was fully focused. But actually, the reason I picked her, because there were other girls who were more experienced than her. There's something with the eyes when you during the casting stage. Something, I saw something in her eyes that I felt that she was the one for the role. And I know that there were other girls who were more experienced, but she had something like some truth and something like sadness, something that could make her do that. And I was actually very lucky that, I followed my
Your instinct.
instinct. Yes.
I was so sad with her, with Christos.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, okay,
Sorry.
we won't spoil that part.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. I enjoyed the film. I was sad for a minute there, but
Yeah, I
a
understand.
lot of people need to watch
Actually,
it.
it's a Greek, a modern Greek tragedy. Can I say modern Greek tragedy? That's what they call it, in the film critics. So yes, it is a tragic story, but I wanted to, in this tragedy, in these dark situations, to reveal some light somewhere. I try to do that, especially between, in human behaviors and relationship, because there is something nice in this dark thing, I think.
No, I understand. I mean, we can always, learn a little bit of survival.
Yes, it's about how, yeah, that's a question of the film. How far will you go in order to survive? And what happens after that? Because yes, okay, you survive, but what kind of person you become? That's why I wanted to explore kind of nice people. Because if someone is not nice, is a bad guy, why would, I make that film? But the exploration was, how you put nice people in a story, and you put society to put a lot of pressure on them, and then see what happens, which are the choices they make. The one makes this choice, the other one, and why, actually, and why? Because they're not bad people, none of them, I think.
And that's why there was no Dimitri chapter.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Congratulations, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.